Yeah.
So we got Trevor, who's 7, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
We got Trevor. What about where's Jordan or Joshua?
Oh,
Did I hear somebody?
I think we're in like I think.
You're in?
Yeah.
All right.
I think you.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
I
Somebody got some huge echo going on.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Come on, I can't talk.
Let's see how many things we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. We're waiting for 2 more.
Oh, there's Emily. All right, I got the Mahonies. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Hello there.
Hi there.
I think they're dressed in their Iowa State gear too, it looks like.
We got to
Always.
represent. I missed mine. I should have had mine on, but I got Dallas Cowboys issue gear on right now. But I like all the Iowa State stuff. Looking good.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, didn't know how to use it.
Looking good.
Everyone's looking good.
That's Riley. Okay, we got Riley on here. How you doing, buddy? Let me figure out how I could work this thing. Make sure I'm getting through all this.
And I'm not sure if we're on.
There we go. That's better.
Angela, are you on?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is our video on?
I cannot see you, but I can hear
Okay.
you. I can hear you beautifully. I just can't see you. Can you see us?
I can see you.
You can
Oh,
see
boy.
us?
Okay,
Right.
so let me see. Stop video.
Here's our 5th family. This ought to be.
All right. Oh, another cyclone. I see him.
Look at that. There's Reese.
Buttonbach. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes,
Oh, that's
sir. Hey, Blake. Hey, Seneca.
How we doing?
How are you, Eric?
Good. You?
Good.
Hey, I'm good, Blake.
Look at is that an Iowa State blazer you're wearing, Eric?
I only pull it out for special occasions, but you're right. It is.
Wow.
Yes.
That's the first on here. Angela, I think we're starting to get your video a little bit.
Are you getting the video?
Little
Yeah,
bit.
we're looking at the ceiling though.
Yep.
You are?
Yeah.
So, let's see. So we got Angela. We've got.
I have it the other way around. Brooke, can you help me?
I think, you know what? Our last family is going to join us a little late. I do recall them saying that. So Jordan and his family are going to join us a little late. So everyone, welcome. I'm Blake Rockwell, Executive Director of Special Spectators, and it is my honor to be hosting you for tonight's, I should say, Iowa State football virtual experience featuring a legend, a living legend, a Cyclone standout, Seneca Wallace. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Welcome to our families from Blank Children's Hospital. Let's see, who do we have? We have Trevor and his family. Trevor, you want to wave? Look at that. Awesome. We have Amaya. Amaya, you want to give us a little wave? Beautiful.
Oh, you okay?
And we have Amaya's family also. There's 2 separate calls, so they're kind of waving.
Oh,
at the same time.
okay.
Pretty.
All right, got it. Got it.
Then we have Riley and their family and her family.
Enter full screen automatically.
And Reese and her family.
Oh dear, I can't hear this.
And then we had Josh's family video for a second. We don't right now, but we can hear you really well. So
Okay, I'm trying to figure out the video part.
okay.
You had it on. You just had to turn your camera and face it a different direction.
Yeah, you had it on there for a few moments.
Okay, do you see me now?
Nope, we don't see you quite yet.
Okay. I'm
Whatever
so
you
sorry,
did the
guys.
last time works. There we go. Now I see you. Now just kind of point it at us, because right now we're kind of seeing your ceiling.
That is so weird. I'm not sure how.
Okay.
Are you using a different device, like an iPad? Like you're looking down at us right now.
That is so weird. I'm using a computer, a laptop.
So
Okay.
whatever camera that is that you got sitting that you're looking at right now,
Yeah.
you need to face that up a little bit. There you go. Turning it.
Does
Boom.
that work? Are we upside down though?
You're all good now. I can see you.
Okay.
Look at those beautiful faces. And where's Joshua?
Hey, hi, Josh.
Hi.
How are you?
What's up, buddy?
Well, it's great to have you guys on. And
You as well.
while we've got everyone here, we just want to remind them to support these kids from Blank Children's Hospital. You can text Cyclones to 855-933-4321. And this is kind of our virtual way to bring the fans to the kids. Since we can't bring the kids to the fans this season, you can send these wonderful kids and their families some great messages of encouragement and support. And then we'll share those with the families a few days after this virtual experience. And your messages will be with them in the form of a digital scrapbook. And it's a great way for the kids to constantly get encouragement and support from Iowa State football fans during their entire journey. Whether they need a distraction during treatment in a clinic, or they're just having a rough day and they need a smile put on their face, this is your opportunity to do that. So please text Cyclones to 855-933-4321. And of course, this is all brought to us by our tremendous friends and supporters, General Mills Tailgate Nation. So Seneca, welcome. I'm going to stop talking because it's all about the kids and their opportunity to talk to you and ask questions, any questions that they want. So just a little warning, kids ask incredible questions. So,
Oh, no, this ain't the first rodeo. I know.
so who wants to ask a question first? Raise your hand for me and I'll call on you.
What did you do?
All right. Let's see.
How many years have you been playing football?
Okay, just a second. Gotta wait, hon.
No, I can answer that. I don't know if everybody heard that. He asked, how many years have I been playing football? Well, I'm retired now, as you maybe can see a few grays in my beard here, but I'm retired. I played 11 years. I played 7 years with the Seattle Seahawks, played 3 years with the Cleveland Browns, and I played a year with the Green Bay Packers. And so now I am fortunate enough to be coaching with the Dallas Cowboys, if you can see the star on my hoodie here. But I'm coaching with the Dallas Cowboys now, so I'm on the other side of things. I'm no longer a player. I am now a coach trying to teach the game to the younger generation. Good question, though.
Who else has a question?
Hey, Seneca, my kids may be a little bit too young to voice their questions here, so you may be hearing from me because I got super excited when I heard about this.
That's fine.
But I'm going to take you back to when you came to Iowa State, and I want to know if we had all the technology that we have today, that dive over the pylon in Arrowhead Stadium, you got to cross that, right?
No question. This question is coming from Reese, the Buttenbach family, if I said it correctly. But
Yes, sir.
yes, if we had the technology today that we had back at Arrowhead Stadium against Florida State, which every child that's on this Zoom call right now wasn't alive then, and obviously they don't know the impact of that game and what it did for us back then in 2002. But if we had the technology and the pylon cam existed back then, I was hands down in. I actually have photos, still photos of me actually running and diving into the end zone. And I was clearly in. My feet didn't touch any paint. But unfortunately, we were playing against Florida State, and it was Eddie Robinson's first, big win for him to kind of catapult him to another level as far as coaching goes and wins. And they weren't going to let old little Iowa State upset them in the only college game that was on at the time. They were going to let us go in and upset them. So I kind of feel like there was a little bit of that going on during that game, but in the back of my mind, I know we actually won that game.
Yeah, I think you ask any fan, and that's one of those moments that stick out in time, and that you just
for sure.
firmly believe in athletic plays that I think fans have seen and pretty remarkable, regardless of
it's great memories, man. I mean, I wish that I try to dig up some of that film. I luckily enough have some small film here at the house that I can actually watch, but it's one of those things. It's one of the big topics. Every time I go back to Iowa, people always ask, "Hey, were you in?" Like, oh, yes, I was in 100%. Good question.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Ask away. Ask whatever you like.
Why did you decide to go to Iowa State?
Oh, good question, Trevor. He asked, why did I decide to go to Iowa State? At the time, my brother, I have an older brother who was in a relationship with a gal that was actually from Iowa. And she told me how fantastic the state of Iowa was. And so, I got to experience that myself when I went there on my recruiting trip. And at the time, and this was in 2000, Sage Rosenfeld was the quarterback there. He played before me. And Sage actually was a senior, and he was going on into the NFL. And they had a lot of returners coming back. And so it was just a great opportunity for me to step in right away. I knew I had 2 years to come in and play football because that window for guys like myself coming in for junior college, it was a short window. So I knew I needed to go somewhere where I can play and play now. And obviously Iowa State was starting to build some success and stack some success. And Dan McCarney was the head coach at the time. And he was a heavy, recruited heavy in the junior college ranks. And so it just made a lot of sense. Now, Trevor, it was very difficult for me to leave California and go to Iowa. I'm going to tell you that now, because I got there during the heart of wintertime. And I commend you guys because the winters up there in Iowa can be brutal. And I learned that firsthand coming from California, where it's always sunny, and then going to Iowa. What's that? But that's how I came to Iowa State, and it was the best decision of my life and my career for sure. Good question.
Riley, Joshua, you guys have a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What
Who has one?
now that's retired?
Say it again. Say it one more time.
What do you do now that's retired?
Oh, what do I do now that I'm retired? So I do a lot of different things. My two go-to things right now, I own some Wingstops for you guys that don't know. I own Wingstop in the state of Iowa. They're actually all my locations. Let me see a show of hands of how many people actually have heard of Wingstop. Have you heard of Wingstop?
Yeah. It's right up the street.
Okay, everybody. All right.
It's
So
up the street.
It's up the street
there
by
you
our
go.
house.
So I own the Wingstops there, and I'm actually getting ready to open my 4th store in Ankeny. That one probably be opening up in March. And so I got into franchise development as I got into the back end of my career. And then also now a sort of a position coach for the Dallas Cowboys. And I work specifically with the quarterbacks and the offensive coordinator. So I kind of got I got multiple hats that I wear, a lot of different hats.
That's pretty cool.
Good question.
See, Maya's brother, I think, has his hand up.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How many, how good would you say that you're at football? Like how many
Oh.
years? Like,
Well, you asked that.
I don't know. I can't explain stuff right now.
He's
It
nervous.
sounded like you asked how good would I say I am at football? Was that the first question?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no.
Daddy's like,
Well, not to toot my own horn, but I would say confidently I was pretty good. I was one of the best at my position when I was in college. I was kind of someone who kind of somewhat paved the way for shorter quarterbacks. And, you know, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I was probably like a 9. Being really good.
Hey Seneca, on that note, I wanted to piggyback off that because that was one of my thoughts that I had too. Clearly you had a successful career. There's no doubt about it at the level and at the professional level. But with the way the game has evolved, if you were 15 years later in the making, I mean, you'd be fitting in with Kyler Murray and those guys.
No, that's a great point right there. I mean, it's a generation has definitely changed. The game of football has changed a lot. And, you know, like I said earlier, I'm just one of those individuals to help pave the way for shorter, more athletic quarterbacks to succeed in the National Football League. So, you know, do I wish I was playing in this era of football? Yes. But I am very thankful for the way in the path that my career has taken me, because now I'm able to kind of share some of the things that I've went through as a shorter, undersized quarterback at the level. And, you know, I mean, it's wide open. I mean, you look at some of the things that Brock Purdy is doing at Iowa State. You know, if I was in shotgun and throwing the ball 40 times a game, I would have a lot of records at Iowa State. I was asked this question, I think last year, about, you know, him breaking my I think it was completion percentage in a single game. But, you know, my average is around 25 passing attempts a game.
Do you have any kids?
You look, what's that?
Do you have any kids?
Oh, I do. I'm gonna answer that question. Now, let me answer that question right after I finish this little thing. But I have, you know, he would throw the ball 40 times a game. I mean, I average around 25 attempts a game. So, you know, it's almost doubled on how many attempts that he has. And so it's just a wide open offense now. And I'm glad that they're able to use, you know, our athletic ability at the next level and be able to get us on the edge and run us and do different things like that. I mean, you see Lamar Jackson doing it, Kyler Murray, Pat Mahomes, and all those quarterbacks. So it's a really good thing for the game. And also now to that question, yes, I do have kids. I actually have 3 beautiful kids. I have one that's 6. I have one that is 4. She's a girl. Her name is Raya. My oldest is Cruz. And then I have a young son who is 18 months old, and his name is Dash. And I'll show you guys here's a little photo of my children, if you guys can see that.
Aww.
Dash is on the bottom and Cruz is up at the top, and then my little baby girl's in the middle.
Yeah.
So they were hanging up all the Christmas ornaments on one of our Christmas trees at home. So that's a good question. Yes, I got 3 kids, love them to death, and they're also a lot of work for all the parents that already know that.
Absolutely.
Who else has a question? Yeah. Yeah, Emily, go ahead.
All right. Well, we live here in Ames.
Yes.
And Riley pretty routinely after her procedures asked to go to Wingstop after
Yes.
her sedations and her procedures. So she wants to know what your favorite wing flavor is.
Ooh, Riley. And see, I know you like pizza and you like Wingstop, huh? And you also love the draw color. Oh.
Yes.
But my favorite flavor at Wingstop, if you guys ever, has everybody been to Wingstop? Raise your hand. I don't know. I mean, I know you heard of it, but has everybody been?
Yeah.
There's a couple people that haven't even been to Wingstop, but my favorite flavors are Louisiana rub, and I actually had Wingstop yesterday. I hardly ever eat it unless I'm back in Iowa, unfortunately, but we had some as a team yesterday. But I love lemon pepper and Louisiana rub. I usually get all flats. If I'm going with boneless, I'll do spicy Korean, and I'll do probably Hawaiian. I kind of like the wet rubs on my boneless wings, and so kind of brings out that flavor a little bit in that boneless wing. But Wingstop, hands down, is the best. And I'm not saying this because I own them, but it's the best wing place out there. So everybody, do you get boneless, or do you get classic, or do you do the tenders, Riley?
Yep. She does the boneless.
She does the boneless.
Yep. The mild ones. Yep.
And and she does mild is her favorite?
Yep. And those fries, can't get enough of those fries.
Oh yeah, we got the best fries in town, that's for sure.
You got it.
That's a great question. Great question.
Who's next with a question for Seneca Wallace? Amaya's brother. I'm sorry, is that Jalen or is that Caden?
Caden.
Caden. All right.
Caden.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
How many did you play any other sports? And how many years did you play them?
Yes. You know what? I was just talking about this with my wife. I played soccer for 5 years before I even started playing football and organized football. So I played soccer for all the way until I was in 8th grade. I played club soccer. And then when I got to 8th grade, I played, as we call it on the West Coast, we call it Pop Warner football, youth football. And I played that for a year. And then I went on and then started playing high school football in 9th grade. And then after that, I played football all the way until 2014. So started off playing organized football when I was, 12, and then started all the way until I retired in the National Football League.
Who else has a question?
I have a question here.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Dustin.
must have been back in 2002, Texas Tech versus Iowa State.
Uh-huh.
And you coined the phrase "the run," right? So
Yeah.
telling Trevor and Trey, Trevor's grandpa and his uncle was at that game, and so we had to YouTube it, and that was a good run.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
It definitely is one for the ages. We actually put a diagram of it up in my Ames location of Wingstop because that's always like the main topic every time I see somebody in Iowa. Even being down here, I run into some Iowa State fans, and if they do know who I am, the first thing they say is, "Hey man, what about that run you had against Texas Tech?" And we always talk about it. You know, I tell them, "Hey, I ran 115 yards for really a 15-yard touchdown." But it's good though, man. I mean, I love it because obviously the history behind it, to be able to share it with so many people that, to this day, and when you're in the moment and you're actually out there playing, you don't think about it. You don't think about, the lasting memory it's going to have on fans. But every person, there's 3 things they always talk about when I see a fan of Iowa State: the run, the game against Iowa at Iowa when we came back and beat them, and then obviously you were in against Florida State. And so it's good to have that history that we can always have a conversation about, my time at Iowa State.
Hey, Seneca, one more
Yeah.
here, and I promise I'll be.
Go ahead.
You keep leading into where my questions want to go and pick your brain. So we talked about the Florida State game.
Yeah.
That family just the run.
Mhm.
Ironically enough, my oldest that as well on YouTube, and it's still the footage is good. The uniforms still look good.
Right.
But one of the things that any of these youngsters obviously won't remember, and you got to talk about it. But I'm just curious. You had a somewhat secondary run like that. Highlights. But like that and the win in Iowa. I'm curious, like what the demeanor was like going against Brad that night, and the hype that was surrounding you guys.
Yeah.
And then kind of what your demeanor was in the locker room, and the status of the game at that point in time, and what was the mindset coming out to flip that around?
Well, I think I lost you there for a second on some of the question that you had, but I thought I heard a little bit about another run that I had that was very similar to the one I had against Texas Tech, which I did. So when I first stepped on campus at Iowa State, our strength coach and the staff made every player wear knee braces. And when I say knee braces, these are like they're like sleeves. They're not your big knee braces that you see that have a lot of metal and stuff on the side of them. They were just kind of sleeves, but they restricted you from, being flexible and having the knee bend that you need. But they were there for precaution to make sure that you were safe and didn't sustain any knee injuries, right? But I remember we were playing at Nebraska, and this was a year Nebraska actually went to the national championship game. And I actually had almost a very similar run that I had against Texas Tech against Nebraska. And I mean, that's one of my favorite runs. I actually like it more than the Texas Tech run, but a lot of people didn't see that one because it wasn't national televised game like the one was against Texas Tech on TBS, I think, at the time. So that's the first question I think you had. And then the second part of that was obviously going up against Brad Banks at the University of Iowa. When you're going up against your rivalry team, being University of Iowa, and when there's no other big major sports in the state, all eyes are on you and your program, on Iowa State and Iowa. And so for us at the time, I think it was early in the season, and we had just lost to Florida State. And then we came back. I think we played against the University of Northern Iowa. We beat them. And then we go down to Kinnick Stadium. And Iowa had a really good team. I mean, they had a lot of first-round draft picks on that team. They had a lot of talent. They had a lot of talent up front with their offensive line, really big guys. And Brad Banks at quarterback, Russell at running back. So they were stacked. And they jumped on us early in that game. They were up on us 24 to – I still never remember the score at halftime because I never thought about scores. I just always thought about competing and finishing, which is most important. And so we were down big at halftime, though, that I remember. And I remember Mike our coach Matt coming up and just saying, hey, you guys need to keep fighting. This is the way we've been built all off season. This is how we prepared to play together as a team. And, we just found ways in that second half. The ball bounced our way. We got some turnovers, and we capitalized those into points. And without those turnovers, we wouldn't have been able to chip away at that deficit. But, it's gone down as one of my greatest football memories of my career, college and in the pros. And so I'm so thankful. So any Iowa Hawkeye fans out there, they always give me grief like, oh, I'm sorry you're a Cyclone. But at the end of the day, I ruined every Hawkeyes fan, opportunity to go to a national championship game, as they say. So I love that moment.
Who gave you your first football?
Say it again.
Who gave you your first football?
Ooh, who gave me my first football? You know what? I want to say it might have been Santa Claus. Santa Claus is coming pretty soon. I think Santa Claus gave me my first football. And when he gave me my first football, I never put that football down again. So you might be getting a football yourself here in a couple of weeks from Santa Claus.
Yeah, Jimmy Holiday is coming here soon.
Mm-hmm.
See?
What's that?
Who else has a question for Seneca?
Go ahead.
Why was your
Yeah,
number 15 in for Iowa State?
Oh man. You know what? I think there's two parts to that. I think I played with two numbers in high school. I was number 4 my freshman year playing. Then I moved to number 10 in my junior and senior year in high school. And then when I got a scholarship to Oregon State out of high school, and when I got there, I was wearing 13. I was just a young freshman, but I wasn't a qualifier, which we can go into a whole nother story about that. But I ended up playing at a junior college. And when I got to college, there was a player at Nebraska by the name of Tommy Frazier. And Tommy was one of the best college players at the time that I ever watched at quarterback, and he wore number 15. And so when I got to my junior college, I wore number 15. And after that, it stuck with me. And I wore 15 for the next, I don't know, 15 years. And then when I finally got to Cleveland Browns and I got traded, I wore number 6. And in my last year with the Green Bay Packers, I wore number 9. Kind of a long answer to your question.
Good question. Who else has another question? Jai. Yep. Go ahead. Vicky?
Did you have a question?
When you played for the Cleveland Browns, dang it, I forgot. I just had it in my head.
Well,
Are you nervous?
think about it. It'll probably come back to you.
I built that one.
And we'll come back to you. If it
Well,
comes to you,
that's
just
what I
raise
was
your
going to
hand.
ask.
Just raise your hand if it comes back to you. That's no problem. That's no problem at all.
They'll come back to you.
There we go. All right. Who else has a question?
Seneca, Trevor actually communicates mostly through American Sign Language.
Mm-hmm.
And he wondered if you would want to learn how to sign Go Cyclones.
Of course. Yes.
Okay, you ready to teach? Okay, ready? Say, Go Cyclones.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you're natural.
Very cool.
You got
There you
it.
go.
I like it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So we'll be saying go Cyclones here in a couple of weeks on the championship game.
That's right.
Yep.
Good stuff. I'll remember that one.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Who else has a question?
Probably, yeah, I think so.
Riley, do you have a question? Were you raising your hand? No?
Riley wants to know what your favorite thing was about living in Ames.
Woo, Riley, you see my face. My favorite thing about living in Ames. Let's see here. There's so many good things though, really. I mean, one of my favorite memories and things that I love, and I try to go to this place every time I'm back, is Pizza Pit. It's all about the memories though, Riley. I used to eat, we used to get these wings there, and the wings were fantastic. So I guess it just came full circle that I happened to put one there in Ames. But Pizza Pit had some of the best wings. Gumby's used to be around, and they used to have this cheese bread or something else like that. And then, you know, I found my wife there. And so that was one of the biggest things to come out of Ames for sure for me. But I was there for 2 years, had a great time, and there's a lot of great people in Ames and a lot of great people throughout the whole state of Iowa.
Them good girls come from Ames, born and raised.
Yeah, you know what? She ain't from Ames, but she's from a small town called Gowrie, Iowa.
Yep.
Which is yeah. I don't know if anybody knows where that's at, but about 900 people in that town, and so that's where she's from.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. Great question. Who else has a question?
I got another one, Seneca.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious on your thoughts on, obviously you have had a lot of success from the collegiate level all the way to pro.
Hmm.
Now you're in a position of leadership,
Right.
being a coach for a lot of young people. I guess my question is, what do you defining, success and just really trying to like work ethic? Like what is a success to you? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. I mean, I think, and I had a talk with Iowa State's girls soccer team, and I think success can be defined in so many different ways. Success can be, your religion, your beliefs. I think success is about the things that you raise in a family. I think success comes in so many different shapes and forms, and so for me, being successful on and off the field, it wasn't all about, the accolades. It wasn't all about what I did on the football field, because I knew that was just a short window for me. And even the same thing about, with these players that are playing right now that I help coach, and all the way down to the young kids that I coach, success is, me being able to share my moments and share the things that I went through to kind of help navigate these kids through this life that they're going through, and I think that's one of the biggest things that for me that kind of helps define my legacy here on earth, because it's not about,
What did you do when you're
Sorry.
it's not about the trophies. It's not about, all the different things that come along. It's not about the car that I drive or the house that I live in. It's about the legacy that I live behind for my kids, and the mentorship things that I do for the younger generation that kind of helps fulfill that void for me. And I just think that's hugely important, that we always have these young kids, men and women, they leave better than they did coming in. And so I just always continue to keep trying to make sure that I kind of guide that point and help with their career throughout, life. And that's on the football field and off. Good question. Really good
Did you
question.
have a question? Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, Jesse, go ahead.
What did you first do when you were not playing football?
What did I first do when I wasn't playing football?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was fortunate enough to kind of sit around for maybe a year and spend time with my family. We didn't have kids at the time, so we started a family, and I was able to spend more time with my wife, because obviously when you're dedicated to something and you put your heart and soul into it, it will take away a lot of the time that you might have with your family. That's just part of building success, as we talk about. But so I spent more time with my wife, and we started having a family, and then I started thinking about the things that I wanted to do post-career, and that's what kind of led me to Wingstop, and led me to kind of help teach the kids, the younger generation, the game of football.
That's pretty awesome.
Good question.
Was there ever a time that you felt like giving up, or, during your football career?
Mhm.
Or did you have any injuries?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, adversity is just part of life. This journey that God has created for all of us is a very unique journey. Obviously we're in this season right now, in the COVID season, that we're all dealing with, self-isolation and being away from our families, and it can be hugely difficult. And that was even part of my playing career. I had to deal with the losses. I had to deal with, the injuries and things like that. And I think that's just part of that helps kind of grow us and make us stronger on the back end of it. Because without these adversities and the things that we go through, it doesn't define who we are just because we go through these things. We got to continue to keep battling through the hard times that God, puts us through, because he does it for a reason. And, my last year with the Green Bay Packers, like most people in their career, they go out with injuries, and I lost, I had tore my adductor, and that was the end of my career. Was it the way I wanted to go out? No, but I knew that
Right.
God had a bigger purpose for me, and that purpose for me was to move on from the game and to be able to kind of get in a space where I can share the things that I've learned to other people.
Amazing.
Great question too. Riley, you have a question?
Riley.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite thing about football?
My favorite thing about football, I think it's the team camaraderie. And, us at the Dallas Cowboys have been through a whole lot this year. And to be able to see a team of young men come together to face all the different hardships that we had to face and adversity we had to face this year, and to see us collectively go out on the football field and try to pour their heart and soul out on the football field to entertain millions of people around the world. It's a special feeling, and to do so in a stadium that's empty. We feed off the fans' energy so much in this game of football. You have to. It's a violent sport that we play, and we need the energy from the fans to kind of help push us through those hard times. Getting hit and having to get back up. And you're hearing the fans yelling and screaming. There's so much energy in the stadium, and now that's been stripped of us, and then we have to go and play in front of stadiums that are empty. And to be able to see the process throughout the week, and then to see that on display on Sundays or Saturdays if you're in college, and Friday nights for high school players, it's a very special moment. It helps build a lot of character when you're around your teammates, and you learn a lot about yourself, and this game can teach you a lot about yourself.
That's a good segue as far as the fans bringing energy and juice to these kids. Don't forget to text Cyclones.
That's right.
855-933-4321. Leave a great message for these kids. We're going to share them with the families after this, a few days after this virtual experience, and they'll have this message, your messages going forward for their entire journey, really help put a smile on their faces, help them get through some difficult times. So Iowa State fans and anyone out there, please text Cyclones to 855-933-4321. We'll take a couple more questions. Who else? Anyone else with a question? Anyone?
I've got another question.
Mhm.
During your high school career, was there a time when there were other kids, your classmates and whatnot, that did not think, that you were good enough, or that you would, make it to pro football, to the NFL, or, that kind of thing? And I guess, how did you feel about it then, and how do you feel now?
Well, I was always that individual who, I pride myself on being a leader, and I didn't allow, the negativity and the things that, and back then was a lot different. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all these other different outlets getting thrown at us where we can pick up our phone and see different things that are being said negatively about us. But, there was always people. I got teased when I was playing soccer and not coming out and playing football. But, always felt like I had to do things my way. And it may be because I'm a Leo. I don't know if anybody's in the signs, but, I always kind of marched at the beat of my own drum, and I didn't really care about what the outsiders said. I just always stayed true. And I think that kind of led into me in the National Football League when I had individuals again trying to shut me down from playing the quarterback position at the next level. And it's funny because one of the coaches for the Minnesota Vikings, who we beat 2 weeks ago, was actually one of those individuals. His name is Charlie Casserly. Wrote a big article about me and said I would never play in the National Football League. And I always had doubters, haters, as we may say, but I just always continued to push forward in my beliefs on what I thought my purpose was here on earth, and that was to continue to press forward, live out my dreams on and off the field, and be a leader and be true to who I am and my values. And so I didn't worry about what other individuals thought about me. I did my homework and I continue to keep pushing.
That's very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Take one more question. Anyone else have a
No
question?
matter what people think about you.
Anyone else have a question?
Hey, Blake, I don't have a question. I just wanted to at least take a moment here before you wrap and acknowledge and say thank you, not only to your organization, but the time that Seneca's taken to spend with us and how authentic you are, Seneca.
Absolutely.
My kids are 7 and 5, so they don't appreciate it as much as my wife and I do at this point.
Right.
But, that you have the words of encouragement. I think there was a cyclone, man. I think we're always up against adversity, no different than with these kids and
Exactly.
pressing forward, and not letting it define who they are. So, I appreciate you guys, coming together on this, sharing words of inspiration, fielding the questions, and proud to call myself a Cyclone, as is our family, and appreciate the time that you've spent with us.
No, you guys got it, man. I mean, this is something that's important to me. A lot of people don't know this, and you guys may not know. I lost my mom at an early age to cancer, and it was a difficult time for me. She was only 58 years old. I lost my father 2 years ago. So it's something that's dear to me, and now having kids and actually seeing, how much love us as parents we have for our children, it's hugely important for me. I don't care what I got going on. I was going to try to find a way to make this happen, regardless if I was in the meeting or not. I was going to make sure I stepped away for a little bit of time to be able to share my stories with you guys. So I definitely appreciate it. And I'm honored to be able to do this with you guys.
Well, it's an honor to have you. And speaking on behalf of Special Spectators and our board and our 200 volunteers across the country, it is an honor to host these families. And I hope you guys have had a great time. Hey, will everybody do me a favor? Let's see all your General Mills goodies and treats and all those good things too. We want to recognize General Mills and thank them.
I see the T-shirts
for their support of Special Spectators and these kids and their families. And we just could not do it without the help of General Mills and Tailgate Nation. So thank you. I also want to thank Blink Children's Hospital, Beth Allen, who helped us secure the families, Learfield IMG College, the Iowa State Athletic Department, Octagon, just, there are dozens of people that go into making this happen. I'm just lucky enough to represent the people who are dedicated and passionate about making these experiences for seriously ill kids and their families. And we're doing it virtually this year, but we can't wait to get back to the stadium next season and do this live in person. So Seneca, thank you.
You
to
got
all
it.
the families, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It's been my pleasure to get to know you.
Thank you.
Your bios.
Thank you.
And, we just wish you the best.
Thanks.
And we wish you a very, very happy holidays. Stay safe and please take care.
Thank you, guys. Happy holidays. Thanks again.
Happy holidays. God
Thank
bless.
you.
Thank you.